starters to the point where maybe you need to give them a little bit of a blow in a game that isn't of critical importance, but yet the crowd tonight is huge. The energy in the building is high. See if the Sun responds to all of that. Alyssa Thomas driving for two. She's got it, and she was fouled. So the Connecticut Sun off to a quick start here in the regular season home finale.
It's always good for Connecticut when Alyssa Thomas starts like this, looking to attack the basket, getting to the free throw line. Stephanie Dolson, a player who's very important to what Chicago does, prone to foul trouble, picks up her first.
Free throw is missed by Alyssa Thomas. And Chicago, which has a win this season earlier in the year against Connecticut. Quigley, three-pointer is good. She is the league leader in three-pointers. That was her 77th of the season.
I really enjoy watching Allie Quigley shoot the basketball. She gets her feet set so quickly, gets the ball out of her hands, rarely misses.
Thomas, the runner, drops through. The Sun regain the early lead.
This is a Chicago team that likes to push the pace. Connecticut's not shy about pushing the pace as well. We should be in for a fun one.
Here's Vandersloot through the defenders, kicking out. Good ball movement, and Dolson along two, rattles it home.
This is a Chicago team that has 5 players that can face the basket, aren't afraid to hoist from the perimeter.
Both of these teams had 100-point outputs in their last respective games. Jones chases down the rebound and fires. Courtney Vandersloot, the hustle, chases it down, keeps it alive for Strickland. Loops it over. That's Thomas. There's Jones driving hard, puts it up. A little short on that attempt, but some early hustle here from the Sun and Courtney Williams as Astu Du nails the shot.
She has been really good, in particular since Jantel Lavender went out with an injury. She's out the rest of the season for Chicago.
Kickball. Yeah, when Jantel Lavender went down, you thought that it would be a big blow for Chicago. And, of course, it is a blow in the sense that their depth takes a hit, but Astu Du has stepped in and really done a remarkably good job. Courtney Williams stepping back, rattling it home. Fun start to this one. As Williams has her first two, reigning Eastern Conference Player of the Week. Vandersloot, a couple of foot fakes. The Shields' first shot, swishes it home.
Diamond Shields, one of the elite athletes in the WNBA. You know, you always have to be ready for her to drive. She can also hit the three.
There's Thomas down the lane, a little too hard on that delivery. Chicago has yet to miss a shot in this game. They're 4 for 4. The Shields tries for 5 for 5. On the money, a three-pointer, back-to-back threes for the Shields. And Connecticut's Kurt Miller has decided to call an early timeout, so we'll take a break as well. 7-9 to go. We're early in the first quarter, and the Sky off to a quick start on the Sun.
Fraternity or sorority and looking out for one another.
Let's get more on that. Checking with Robin Brown.
Well, Bob, an early timeout for Connecticut's Kurt Miller, and he said, guys, Chicago is 5 for 5 right now. You need to lock in and stay in place, but if we need to play good defense, you need to contest their shots. Bob?
All right, Robin, the Sky have not missed a shot in this game as Shakina Strickland hits her first shot from downtown, makes it a 4-point game.
Chicago with 5 made field goals. Courtney Vandersloot has 4 assists on those 5. She's a big reason that they've had some open looks.
She has the ball in her hands right now and feeding Dolson and threw it away. Courtney Williams, Alyssa Thomas. There's Jasmine Thomas and having trouble corralling. She turns it over to Shields. She is quick right down the lane against Williams. First miss of the night for Chicago. Here's Thomas to the left hand, push it through. Well, the Sun have come out impressively out of that timeout. 2-point game. Vandersloot, three-pointer is good. 31 three-pointers on the season for Vandersloot. They have 4 three-pointers already in this first quarter.
And this is a Chicago Sky team. When they have multiple players hitting, especially from the perimeter, they are tough to beat. They put a shellacking on Phoenix in their last game.
105-78 win that night. The Shields off of the mark. Long rebound. Dolson thought about it. Then a beautiful feed down low for Dew. 7-point Chicago lead. There's Thomas. Nice blow by right down the lane. Jasmine Thomas, back-to-back hoops for Connecticut. Sun down 5. And on the handoff, the takeaway, Alyssa Thomas, right down the lane, lays it through to make it a 3-point game. A miscommunication at that Chicago end.
And just a great job by Alyssa Thomas to jump out. We see her do that a couple times a game, a relentless defender.
Vandersloot, reverse, beautifully done by Courtney Vandersloot. Thomas down the lane, the kick out off of the mark. On the fly, she tried the pass and a little too wide as she attempted to connect with Courtney Williams. Letitia Heidemann checking into the game for the Sun. What a game she had the other night. She came in, was part of the bench effort for the Sun in the fourth quarter. Kurt Miller with all reserves in the fourth, and Heidemann ended up with 9 assists in that game.
A little early, though, for Jasmine Thomas to coming out of the game. Trainer down there talking to her right now. But yeah, Natisha Heidemann coming off a terrific performance.
Jasmine Thomas at the end of the Connecticut Sun bench. We'll have to keep an eye on that. As she's being tended to, and I don't know if she got banged up. No reason to speculate. We'll see what transpires. And there you get a shot of Jasmine Rebecca, obviously in some distress. But again, we didn't really get a look at what the initial reason was for her heading to the bench. Wanted an inhaler there.
Well, the pace of this game, you and I need an inhaler.
That's a good point. Up and down. Well, the Sky love to play that way. They lead the league in pace. There's Shakina Strickland scooping it through. A rare 2-point field goal for Strickland.
Yeah, the Sun have had good success when they've looked to attack the paint from the guard position.
Vandersloot to Quigley. And the miss. And Courtney Williams to the other end. Whipping it over to Strickland. 3-pointer is good. A new career high for Shakina Strickland. 72 3-pointers, the most she's ever had in a single season.
Shakina Strickland was sprinting down the floor and realized that she was not going to be able to beat Allie Quigley. So she smartly then instead stepped back out to the 3-point line. That's where she's most comfortable. So you can't see right here. She's sprinting, realizes not getting there first, retreats to the 3-point line where she's at her best.
Yeah, when she is set, she is deadly. And she was very set as Rebecca set you up on that one. And there's a steal from Jones. Leaves it for Williams. The pass got knocked away by Chicago. 2-point game. Boy, you aren't kidding. This game has incredible pace and energy. They overruled that call. It goes back to the Sky.
It looked like the bounce pass was just a little bit behind Heidemann. I think that was the right call.
So it'll be Chicago ball with 3.5 to go here in this first quarter. Last home game of the regular season for the Sun. They finished the season on the road at Indiana on Sunday. And then they have a long layoff before the playoffs begin. And they're grateful for that. No one-and-done scenario this year. I should say one-and-done, a win-or-go-home scenario. The Shields, three-pointer, off the mark. It has been one-and-done for the Connecticut Sun the last 2 years because they've been knocked out of the playoffs in successive years by the Phoenix Mercury in the second round. The Sun the last 2 years have gotten a first-round playoff bye.
We've talked all season how important it was, in particular, for this Connecticut Sun team to put themselves in a position to be in a series. Because if they're in a series, I think they can beat any team in the WNBA. They've just lack a little bit of experience in those one-and-done or single elimination games.
The Shields, the rebound to the Thomas miss, and boy, she is so adept at doing just that. Grabs the rebound, and then she can just go coast to coast.
There have been some times down the floor where the Shields and Courtney Williams have been on each other, and they are two of the elite athletes in this league.
Heidemann, a three-pointer. Step back three for Natisha Heidemann. Her 11th three of the season makes this a one-point game. And a turnover at the Chicago end. And it'll go back to Connecticut.
James Wade frustrated with Cheyenne Parker because that was a great pass by Courtney Vandersloot. Then here, deep range for Natisha Heidemann. Especially when we don't know what's going on with Jasmine Thomas right now. Heidemann is so important to this team.
Courtney Williams, three-pointer, drills it home, and the Connecticut Sun regain the lead. Well, each team now with 4 made three-pointers. The Shields to the left hand and follows it up. And for the first time tonight, we're tied. Thomas pivoting, reversing, missing. Kalia Copper got a little out of control. She was defended well. The Sun push. Beautiful pass from Courtney Williams to Bria Holmes. Missed it. Jones follows. Dolson blocks her. Holmes got it back and put it through.
What a possession, end-to-end by Bria Holmes. She's the reason Chicago missed the layup on one end. And then she sprinted down the other way. Didn't hit the first time, but get the offensive board. Great energy and hustle by Bria Holmes.
Another remarkable shot there at the other end from Diamond to Shields. There's Heidemann. Quick delivery and puts it through, and she was fouled. We got some very fast players on the floor. Heidemann certainly in that category.
Well, you have to respect her three-point shot. We saw her hit one from deep a couple possessions ago. Here, attacking the rim. She's got nice quickness going inside into the lane.
That foul was on to Shields. She takes a seat on the bench. Vandersloot here with a minute to go in the first quarter. Takes a blow off of the missed free throw. Chicago chases it down. An entertaining first quarter from the Mohegan. That will count. And a possible three-point play. This is a pretty good bench for Chicago, even without Jantel Lavender no longer part of this squad. You have players like Cheyenne Parker who just hit that basket, come off the bench. She had a career-high 22 against Connecticut earlier this season.
She played really well in their last game against Phoenix, hitting a couple from long range. And that time, Rachel Banham tried to come over and help, but just didn't have the size to deal with it.
Holmes, 15-footer, swishes it home, breaks the tie. Sun by a couple. Under a minute to go in this wild first quarter. Quickly to Dolson, posting up on Jones, and Dolson muscling her way in. We're tied again. Rachel Banham in the game now for Connecticut. Jones mishandling. Gives for Banham. Good look for Heidemann, three-pointer, but way off. The long arms of Jones corralled it, and she was fouled. Parker got her. So Jonquel Jones will go to the line to shoot two.
I don't know how Jonquel Jones was able to catch this ball. She doesn't leave her feet. She only has one arm available to her. Just a great job. And then to be tough and strong with it, because there's a lot of people around her feet. Let's get to the free throw line. Showing some strength. She's done that really well the last few games when she's gotten the ball inside.
2 free throws for Jones.
We're on pace for what? 120-point game? I'm here for it, though.
Sun put up 102 the other night against Dallas, and in their last game on Sunday against Phoenix, you already mentioned the Sky scored 105. Here's Copper. Good step down the lane. No good. Gabby Williams follows it up. And that brings the first quarter to an end. Well, we could use a break. This has been one crazy, frenetic first quarter and a fun quarter to watch. Last home regular season game for the Sun. They're down a point to the Sky. They're down one to Chicago, and a little bit of concern earlier in the quarter for the Sun starting point guard, Jasmine Thomas. Robin, do you have an update?
With the athletic trainer, and they said that she just needed her inhaler to catch her breath, but before Kurt Miller entered that huddle, just because she wasn't out on the court, she was still providing her leadership quality, saying, guys, Chicago's going to continue to push the ball, so we have to make sure that we run back, stop them from leaking out. Bob?
All right, thank you, Robin, and that's good news to hear about Jasmine. Glad that it's nothing serious. In other words, hopefully the inhaler can remedy the situation there. And as you said, Rebecca, this is a game where, yeah, you need some oxygen.
Yeah, both teams aren't afraid to run. Chicago likes to push the pace. That's another reason the benches are important in this kind of game, because it's hard to play 40 minutes at this kind of pace.
Gabby Williams ends up in the front row there, and it's a turnover on Chicago, and the Sun get it back, trying to go back in front. They fell behind in the first quarter by 7 points. What a stuff there by Gabby Williams. Heidemann took it at her, and she had it rejected.
This is Gabby Williams' first year as a backup point guard for the Chicago Sky. Good take, but man, when we talk about some of the elite athletes in this league, we saw that for a lot of years at the University of Connecticut as well. Gabby Williams, quick, can jump. She's done a nice job to her first year as a point guard in the league.
Jones was short on that, but then the Sky cannot corral the rebound. Squirts loose, and here is Tuck from the elbow. Drills it home, and Morgan Tuck is starting to heat up here late in the season. That is a great sign for the Sun.
The bench for the Connecticut Sun is a completely different looking group just over the course of the last 2 weeks. The confidence that they're playing with.
Heidemann was looking for Holmes. Ball got deflected by Copper, but the Sun will inbound with 19 to shoot. Just underway here in the second quarter. The Sun bidding for their 4th straight win and what would be their 10th straight home victory. Heidemann thought about it. Jones posting up, now fading away. Dolson defended her, and she has a rebound. The Sky bidding for their 20th win of the season. 7-8 on the road this year. Williams for Dolson, lets it fly. Tuck the miss, and then the athletic Williams, the snatch, the steal. And then Heidemann showing off her athleticism. She comes away with the steal. Feeds Tuck, jumper, in and out. Don't blink in this game. Dolson taking measure and finds Williams. Now both of these teams are cooling off, which is to be expected. They were both shooting well over 60% in that first quarter. Holmes for a cutting Jones, and right down the lane for the bucket. And the Sun by 3.
Sun are really good in the pick and roll with multiple players, in particular Jonquil Jones and Alyssa Thomas.
Well, the Sky want a timeout. James Wade doesn't like the way the Sun have scored the first 4 points of the second quarter. Bria Holmes gives up on the pick and roll to Jonquil Jones. Sun by 3. Well, you were talking, Rebecca, about Morgan Tuck and what a boost it is to this Connecticut bench if she's on her game. She was certainly on her game last time out, 17 off of the bench against Dallas.
I think she could be a real key for this team. Just because she can come in at the 4 position or the 3, she can hit threes. She provides something a little bit different from what Alyssa Thomas brings to the floor. She'd be out there when they're in that really big lineup.
Dolson powering past Brianna Jones, stood her ground and got the rebound. That is tapped away by Copper, and then the loose ball foul is going to be called on Brianna Jones. Good hustle from Jones, but ends up with the foul. She had a fantastic game the other night.
Yeah, another player who's, had some struggles this season, but really putting it together at the right time. Another player who can be important because she brings something different, and that's, more strength and size at the 5 position.
Not that time for Quigley. Sun with all reserves on the floor right now. Heidemann at the point. Delivering the bounce for Tuck. Spinning, and then Dolson blocking it out of bounds. Last touch by Connecticut. Nice block there by Dolson.
Really nice move by Morgan Tuck. I like the attack. Stephanie Jolson just stood her ground. Really good D.
Almost 3 minutes gone by in this second quarter. Chicago has yet to score a point in this period. Here's DeShields. They trap her. She got away from it. Nope. The trap pays off for the Sun. They force a DeShields turnover. There's a good sign for the Sun. She's got her breath back. And Jasmine Thomas back on the floor for the Sun. So the starting point guard for the Sun, setting up Bria Holmes. She'll go to the line to shoot a pair here.
That's what Bria Holmes does so well. She's a big, strong body with quickness, and she can get into the paint, absorb contact. It's like she likes the contact when she gets inside, but that is her game, attacking the rim.
She's been the leading scorer off the bench this season for the Sun, averaging a little more than 6 points a game. The Connecticut native from New Haven, Connecticut, completing her first full season as a player here in Connecticut. Of course, she was with the organization last year, but now she's back after her maternity leave of last year. Williams picks up that personal, and it is the third team foul on the Sun with 6:27 to go here in the quarter, and Chicago still hasn't scored in this quarter as Quigley sets up Vandersloot. She drives through for the first 2 of the period for the Sky. Sun by 3, Tuck a 3. Vandersloot. Head up. Feeding Dolson. Ball poke loose. DeShields chases it down. Fakes the shot. Feeds Dolson. Puts it right through.
That was just beautiful basketball. Terrific pass by DeShields. Nice roll by Stephanie Dolson.
Sun by 1. Williams long jumper drills it home. She is having a great year in terms of shooting percentage. She's really on the mark. Her 3-point percentage is really remarkable considering that it's not a big part of her game. But
and peaking at the right time last few weeks of the season.
Jones, the fake, the drive, not there. Stu Du gives up for Vandersloot. Handoff for DeShields, steps into one and knocks it down. Well, she's an all-star. She's showing off her skills tonight. Diamond DeShields now has 14 points.
She deserves serious consideration for second team All-WNBA.
We were talking about Courtney Williams and her ability to shoot the ball. Knocks down another one. Sun regained the lead. Quigley trapped. Dolson. Vandersloot. And it was Brianna Jones that knocked her off balance. Then the recovery for Quigley.
Her feet weren't even set there. Man, she's a clinic when you watch her shoot the basketball.
She now has 5 points in this game. As we mentioned, DeShields leading all scorers with 14. Williams for Jones. Traveled. Lost her balance. So the Sun give it up. Chicago gets it back with under 4 to go in this first half.
One of the things that really has impressed me about Courtney Williams is that she doesn't force a lot on the offensive end in terms of her shot. And last game was a perfect example of that. She only took 5 field goal attempts, but had 7 assists. This is after 5 games where she was scoring in double figures. You know, she can score and shoot and get open looks over any defender, but still knows when to take it. Talk about a player who can get looks over any defender. We've seen a lot from Diamond DeShields so far in this first half.
Well, she has a chance here to get to 17 points in the first half when she steps to the line after this +1. And she's only in her second year in this league. And if Chicago should play their way deep into the postseason, it's not like people don't know who she is, but as a professional, they're going to really start paying attention because she is coming out real strong now.
That was kind of a shame of last year. Chicago did not win a lot of basketball games, and so Diamond DeShields in her rookie campaign probably didn't get enough attention. You know, people not paying enough attention, but they are sure this year and will continue to be in the playoffs.
Here's Jones for the 3. And DeShields went way, way up to grab that rebound, and the crowd does not like the foul call on Alyssa Thomas.
Well, I don't know how that's on Alyssa Thomas. I mean, you see the great athleticism by Diamond DeShields, but it's not like Alyssa Thomas undercuts her. She was there and waiting for the basketball.
Thomas's reaction, you saw it, and obviously she was feeling the same way you were thinking. Sun are in the penalty, so DeShields on the line with a couple of free throws, and one more coming after making the first. What a first half for DeShields. She now has 18 points, and we still have a little less than 3 minutes to go in the half as Strickland misfires. DeShields yanks down the rebound. Bouncing for Parker, pushed off. Easy call. Cheyenne Parker on the offensive foul. It'll go back to Connecticut with 2:42 to go in the half. And that'll lead us to a timeout. So off of that offensive foul, there'll be some ball when we come back to the Mohegan. 9 points tonight for Courtney Williams, Rebecca. She is their leading scorer in the first half. Courtney Williams has really come on, and the last few weeks for the Sun offensively. She had a quiet scoring night. Well, she had 9 last time out, but before that, she'd been averaging over 20 a game. Big numbers out of the Sun 2 guard.
And just as impressive tonight, 9 points, but she leads the team with 3 assists. I mean, she has really become good at seeing the floor and recognizing when she gets extra attention and delivering the basketball to her teammates. I think she's the biggest key to this team's chances of winning a WNBA championship. You need an elite guard who can go get her own points in order to win a championship. And that's what she is for this team. She can go get buckets even when there's a really good defender on her. And, so not necessarily just the first round, but to win a championship, a big key is going to be Courtney Williams.
Alyssa Thomas feeding Tuck, missed the reverse. Under 2.5 to go in this first half, and Katie Lou Samuelson is in the game as that long pass gets knocked away, and the Sun can't run it down. So the Sun give it up in a game that continues to feature a high energy, a lot of pace to this game, fast pace. Good crowd inside the Mohegan. Fan appreciation night. Of course, there will be many more games they hope to be played here as the Sky turned it over and Thomas into 2 defenders, and somehow she rolled it through.
It looked like she went in there to get the foul call. Oh, that was a hard hoop to make.
The Shields has 19 first half points. Missed that time. Williams, Strickland, three-pointer is good. Shakina Strickland now has 73 three-pointers on the season. She is 1 away from matching Carol Lawson's franchise record. And that last 3 leads to a James Wade timeout.
Talked about it earlier in transition. That's where Shakina Strickland likes to go, is to the three-point line. And we've seen throughout the course of this season how important she is to the team's success. When she makes threes, they tend to win ball games.
Well, she is 3 for 4 from behind the stripe tonight. She is the first player to double figures for the Sun. She has 11. We mentioned the Shields leads all scorers with 19. Strickland having a good time. She certainly, as you just said, Rebecca, would be a big factor for the Sun, or will be a big factor for the Sun when they play in that first semifinal round series. When she's on her game, no doubt about it. There is a cause and effect here. If she's hitting threes, the Sun generally win games.
And it's not just because of the points she's putting on the board, but it just opens up the driving lanes when she's on the floor because it sucks defenders out. It's harder to help. And we've seen how good Connecticut can be when they can get in the paint and drive to the basket.
See what's next for the Sun. They finish the regular season on the road at Indiana on Sunday. And then the semifinal round against an opponent to be determined will begin right here at the Mohegan Sun a week from Tuesday, the 17th of September. It presents Kurt Miller with a welcome problem. After the Sun play on Sunday, then they're going to have a relatively long layoff, Rebecca. And the challenge for Kurt is how to keep his team sharp and focused.
He said, it's balancing staying sharp and staying healthy. And he's talked to college coaches. He's talked to WNBA coaches. He's got his plan for how he's going to handle that time off. But the balance, stay sharp, stay healthy.
Shot clock is down to 5. There's Copper. Dolson looks at the clock. She drives and did not get off the shot in time. I saw Dolson peek at the shot clock. I was a little surprised that she didn't get a shot off.
Sometimes you think you can do more than you can do, and I think that was the case. She knew how much time was on the clock, but thought she could do more in that time than she actually could. Especially as big guys. We often think we could do more than we could do.
I had a feeling you were going back to your own experience there. It's going to be a Chicago foul with exactly a minute remaining in this first half. 4 team fouls on Chicago. 14 set on the shot clock. A minute to go in the half. The toss in for Williams has it blocked by Diamond DeShields. Wow. Doing it all in this half for Chicago. Sky have it back as Olsen hands off. Copper fades back, drills it home to tie the game with 45 seconds to go in the half.
Dolson does such a good job setting screens out on the perimeter to give her guards and wings an extra step to the basket.
Ball was poked loose. And then the Connecticut hold. Free throws coming up for Chicago. Thomas on the hold. So here is Vandersloot. She is an 84.5% free throw shooter on the year. Makes the first. Now has 10 points. She set a WNBA record last month when she broke her own record for most assists in the WNBA season. She came into this game with 283 total assists, broke her own record of last year when she had 258. 29 seconds to go in the half. And the Sky have regained a 2-point lead. And you see Chicago in 5th place, Rebecca. They have plenty to play for. Were you as surprised as I was to see Las Vegas lose last night at Atlanta, which opens the door for Chicago? They now have a legitimate shot at getting as high as 4th and earning that coveted first-round bye.
Well, one thing we've seen is that teams who aren't in the playoffs are still playing really, really hard and still trying to win ball games, but very surprised that Atlanta, especially because Jessica Breland didn't play, Tiffany Hayes didn't play for Atlanta, that they were able to beat Vegas. And Vegas has had a tough stretch, 5 of their last 6 on the road. But they've had times where they've struggled and, have left the door open for Chicago to get that number 4 seed.
Washington, as you saw, on top of the WNBA standings, and for the Sun to get that top seed, the Sun have to win both of their remaining games tonight and Sunday, and they need Washington to lose. And Washington was blowing out Dallas at last check, and they're up by 15 with a little more than 4 minutes to go in the third quarter as we wind it down here in the first half. That is Williams for a cutting Strickland on the fly. Jones fought for the rebound, and they're going to get Dolson on the foul. And these will be free throws for the Connecticut Sun. The Sky are in the penalty, and with 15 seconds to go in the half, here's Jonquil Jones going to the line, and here's why.
I think they got Stephanie Dolson because she was doing the kind of the football block instead of turning the back for the box out.
I see you're getting in season here with your football reference there.
Football started, right?
Yeah, last night. Not much of a game.
I'm in a fantasy league this year with my 10-year-old
son.
No
way. You're in a fantasy football league?
Because there's this mom and 10-year-old son fantasy league. I couldn't not be in it. I have no idea what I'm doing, but we're enjoying it so far.
We'll talk in a couple of months.
Yeah, please. I need some help.
Those 2 free throws from Jones ties this game at 52. Chicago looking to take the last shot here. 2-1. DeShields puts it up. Thought she was fouled first half. Comes to an end. Well, it's the last home game of the regular season for the Sun, and we've got a good one. This was an entertaining first half, and we're all even. If you like offense, you have come to the right place here tonight. 2 high-scoring teams engaged in a high-scoring game. The Sun trying to close this out with what would be their 10th straight home win and their 16th home win of the season, which would be a new Connecticut Sun record. And the Chicago Sky, with plenty to play for, they're playing for a potential first-round playoff bye. Fun first half to watch and to talk about it. Let's check in with Robin. She's standing by with Jasmine Thomas.
Jazz, the speed and agility of that first half, how does the pace of this game feel to you thus far?
It's fast. I had to ask for a sub in that first quarter. Both teams came out firing up tempo. It's a high-scoring game, tied at 52. So for us, we're happy that we're scoring, but we definitely need to get more stops in the second half.
You took an early exit in that first quarter, sitting on the bench with the inhaler. What's your physical status update?
I'm fine. I had asthma my whole life. It's something I'm able to deal with. I just don't usually have to take my inhaler, so it surprised me a little bit, but I'm fine.
Thank you, Jazz. Bob?
Well, some good news there from Jasmine Thomas. She certainly looks energized. We're at the half in a game where you need a lot of energy. The sun and the sky, all even at 52. All even to start the second half here at the Mohegan, where the Sun have lost only once all year. They are 15-1 inside the Mohegan Sun Arena. The best home record in the history of the franchise was 15-2 in 2011, so the Sun have a chance to finish with the best home record ever for a franchise that has been around since 2003 in Connecticut. Chicago ball to get it going here in the second half. The Shields 18 in the first half, looking for 20 right there. Misfiring, and Alyssa Thomas driving, bouncing, trailing as Thomas. Sun looked to break the tie.
On the defensive end, you saw Connecticut, though. They're running two defenders at Diamond to Shield to start the second half.
Stu Dew knocked it out of bounds, so it'll be Connecticut basketball with 7 to shoot. Connecticut playing for the second time in 3 days, coming off the 30-point win over Dallas, their biggest blowout win of the season. Chicago hasn't played since Sunday, so they came in pretty fresh as the Sun turned it over on the inbound. And here is Vandersloot setting up Dolson. Williams off of the miss. Sun looking for the first points of the second half. Williams firing. Jones tipping it, and it ricochets out to midcourt. Reset for the Sun.
That was a really smart play by Alyssa Thomas to bat that out so they could retain possession.
It is turned over. Vandersloot loops the pass to the Shields. She now has 20. Beautiful assist right on the money from Vandersloot.
Yeah.
Jasmine Thomas with under 10 to shoot. Driving into a double team. Whistle blew. Let's see who they've got. It's going to be a Chicago foul. James Wade did not appreciate the call.
Nice attack by Jasmine Thomas. I can understand why he's frustrated with that call. It looked like she had all ball. That Vandersloot had all ball.
Yeah, you saw Dolson there wanting to jump. That is James Wade. First-year head coach. A win tonight would be Chicago's 20th of the season. They are headed to the playoffs for the first time since 2016. Elena Deladon was a Chicago Sky the last time Chicago was a playoff team.
It's the Chicago team the last 2 years won 13 games and 12 games. James Wade has done a remarkable job turning this thing around really quickly.
We're all even again as Vandersloot tried the no-look to Dolson. And then Courtney Williams snuck in from behind, blew it up, and Dolson commits the foul.
Chicago foul number 31, Stephanie Dolson.
Definitely a foul. And I thought a smart foul, too, or else Courtney Williams was going to be off to the races. This crowd loves when Stephanie Dolson gets called for fouls. You would think she'd Didn't play her college basketball in this state.
I have noticed that.
Right?
I don't know if it's a Dolson thing. It's sometimes the crowd recognizes that UConn player's name when they're called on a foul. And if they're in the opponent's uniform, it's like an automatic reaction. But
I don't know. It feels a little extra today with Stephanie Dolson, doesn't it?
A little bit, yes. Stu Dew tried the three-pointer and misfired. So we're tied. Relatively slow start here in the third quarter after what we saw in the first half. And Jasmine Thomas a little off the mark on that three-point attempt. DeShields turned it over. Thomas waiting for her teammates to catch up. Delivers a beautiful pass for Jonquel Jones. The Sun break the tie on top by 2.
Don't ignore the defense that was played by Alyssa Thomas on Diamond DeShields the last time down to get that ball back.
Skeena Strickland's going to get called on the hold. First on Strickland. That's the first one on Connecticut in this third quarter. 3 minutes gone by in quarter 3. Vandersloot. Cross-court pass picked off by Strickland here is Thomas. Shuffling for Jasmine Thomas. And then Alyssa didn't know it was coming, but Jasmine picked it up. Nothing but air on that one. The bullet ahead for DeShields. Hits the shot, and she was fouled. Beautiful long pass into the hands of Diamond DeShields, and once she gets her hands on it.
This might be a future MVP in the WNBA. Diamond DeShields has been playing so well, in particular the last few weeks as her confidence continues to grow. Clearly has the green light within the Chicago Sky system. Man, has she put on a show here so far.
The three-point play gives Chicago the 1-point lead. Williams straight away. Jones the rebound. And the Chicago foul.
Jonquel's done a nice job in this game, just being active around the offensive glass, getting her hands on the basketball. Spending a little bit more time in the paint versus out on the perimeter as the season's gotten as it's gotten later in the season.
Here she is posting up. And there you go, Rebecca, right on target as she will go to the line to shoot a couple of free throws.
You know, we've seen how effective she can be from the perimeter in previous seasons. And one of the questions with Jonquel, all right, can she absorb contact inside? Can she have a lot of defenders around her and still go up strong and score? And as this season's gone on, I think she's done a better and better job of that.
Good free throw shooter all season long, over 80%. That foul is on Stu Dew. One-point Connecticut lead as we play a little bit of seesaw here with the lead in this game. Vandersloot to Quigley, right on the money.
She almost never misses an open teammate. She's always surveying the landscape to see if anybody's got a step on their defender.
Thomas, second chance. Strickland, high arcing three.
Oh.
And DeShields is down behind the play and grasping her right knee, and that's going to lead to a James Wade timeout. And Diamond DeShields in some distress as the timeout is called, and the Chicago trainer over to 10-2 DeShields. If you're a Chicago fan, this is a sight that has to be disturbing. We're going to take a full timeout and come back with 5:43 to go in the third quarter. The Sky up a point. Well, we'll welcome you back. They originally called for a
3-second violation.
Well, they came back a little more quickly than expected out of that timeout. You didn't miss much. In fact, right there, Courtney Williams gives the Sun the lead again by a point. 60-59 Connecticut. Now Chicago back on top as Copper knocks down the jumper. And before that timeout, Diamond DeShields was being 10-2 as Jones puts up a three. And Jonquel Jones hits it from long distance. Sun by a couple. And Jonquel Jones has her first made three of the night. And Alyssa Thomas almost had the steal, but staying with it is Cheyenne Parker and puts it through.
Encouraging sign. Diamond DeShields is at the scorer's table to come back in the game.
Yeah, before the timeout, she was down being 10-2. It looked like a knee injury of some sort, but it looks not to be serious. As Rebecca said, she's getting ready to come back in the game. Shot clock winding down. Jasmine Thomas knew it, let it fly, and puts it through. A three-pointer. Puts the Sun on top by three.
It's hard to make a three-point shot when the pass is as off-target as that pass was. Great job by Jasmine.
Vandersloot. Thomas splits defenders like bowling pins. They all go down. Thomas got right back up.
Some big bowling pins, though.
Yes. Big and sturdy.
Here in New England, these would be the duck pins.
Yes. Boom, boom. And Alyssa Thomas, she took out 2 for 1 there. And then she got right back up.
What's the hardest split in bowling? Like the 1-9 or the 2-9 or something like that? Do you know how well do you know you're bowling?
Yeah, the 7-10 is
7-10.
pretty much impossible to make. But yeah, I've seen it done.
So maybe that was a 7-10.
That would be a 3-5.
Okay.
Well, one thing that we saw there before this timeout was called was that Diamond DeShields getting ready to come back into the game. And you said potential MVP someday. What about the race at hand here, Rebecca?
I mean, there's a lot of players, in particular big players, who are having remarkable years this year. Jonquel Jones for Connecticut being one of them. You see Courtney Vandersloot on that list for Chicago as well. But right now, I think Elena Deladon is the favorite to win it all, not only because of the points she's scoring for the team with the best record, but she has been very efficient doing so.
We will know soon enough. The postseason begins next week, but for the Connecticut Sun, some welcome rest. Welcome because they have managed to do the basketball version of the double jump and checkers. Bang, bang, right into the semifinals, and they close out the regular season Sunday at Indiana, and then they don't play again until a week from this coming Tuesday. And you already talked about it, Rebecca, the fine line that Kurt Miller has to walk here, that balancing act between making sure his team is fully rested and stays healthy, but keeping them sharp in a basketball sense.
Well, first of all, I'm just so excited that we got a checkers and bowling reference in within a couple minutes of each other in a basketball game. But yeah, we were talking to him how he's going to balance that, and he said it's going to be 2 days of practice, 2 days off, 2 days of practice, 2 days off. And we talked about this a little in the first half. But he's talked with college coaches who deal with long layoffs between their conference tournaments and NCAA tournament. He's talked to other WNBA coaches who've been in this situation before, and he feels like that's the best way to continue to fine-tune things with his team, but at the same time keeping them fresh and healthy.
We're now well into this new format, but I know you love it. It began in 2016, and 2016 and in 2017, 1 and 2, and 1 and 2 in both those years, made it through LA and Minnesota to the finals. And then last year was the first year it wasn't 1-2, it was 1-3. as Seattle made it in against Washington, the 3 seed. Well, Washington right now trying to lock up the 1 seed. Connecticut trying to lock up the 2 seed. Well, they have locked up the 2 seed, trying to stay alive for the 1 seed.
And watching games this season, especially the stretch run of this season, Washington and Connecticut are consistently playing the best basketball in the league. That being said, LA looked really, really good in their latest win. This Chicago team has looked really good to me in stretches. But in terms of consistent play and consistent great play, Connecticut and Washington have been the top 2 for me.
Said LA looking good. They took apart Seattle 102-68. Thomas to Thomas. Oh, nice pass for Courtney Williams. Alyssa Thomas doing it all. And Courtney Williams, another bucket for her. She has 13. The Sun have a 6-point lead. Parker in traffic, defended well. Nice job defensively there by the Sun. Williams sees an opening and fires and now has 15. And the Sun extend the lead. It's an 8-point advantage for Connecticut. The largest lead of the game for the Sun. The Shields from the elbow. All Connecticut right now. Another good third quarter for the Sun. That's been their calling card this season. A lot of contact again. Copper went right down the lane. Got banged hard. Will pay the price for these free throws.
The explosiveness that Chicago has at the wing position. Diamond DeShields, Kalia Copper. They are going to attack inside. Alyssa Thomas there is a bit late.
First one for Copper is good. 3 in, 3 out here for Chicago, including for the first time of the game, Jamira Faulkner in off of the bench. .80 run for the Sun is over as Copper puts through a couple. Jones corrals it. Thought she was fouled. Sky down 6. Exactly 2 to go in the quarter. Another collision. Connecticut foul. Jasmine Thomas tried to take the charge.
She slid up under her. Give her another half step, she would have been able to draw the charge.
A lot of contact in this game.
Yeah.
Parker is coming off a good game. Their last time out against Phoenix, she had 18. I mentioned earlier that in a June win over the Sun, she had a career-high 22.
2 minutes in the quarter.
Couple for Parker. 4-point Connecticut lead as Courtney Williams has to chase it down and then threw it away. Bria Holmes kept it alive. Great hustle. Jones got off the shot, hit it, and she was fouled. So Bria Holmes' hustle was rewarded as Jonquel Jones hits that leaner, and she got hit. The Sun by 6, and Jones goes to the line to try to complete a 3-point play.
There's a lot of scrappy play by the Connecticut Sun on this possession, just keeping the ball alive. And for Jonquel Jones, it goes in, finishes, clearly gets hit on the arm. But the reason she even got the shot was because of the hustle of her teammates.
And she does hit the free throw, and the Sun lead it by 7. Faulkner off the stutter step. Just got into the game and has her first two. Holmes threw it away looking for Thomas. Copper the steal right at Heidemann and scores.
Can't play much better defense than Heidemann did there. Copper just had a little bit better offense.
Connecticut led by 8 a few minutes ago, and that lead is down to 3. As Heidemann threads the needle for Jones, had it blocked underneath by Parker, kept alive for Holmes. Heidemann, three-pointer is good. Heidemann from the corner puts the Sun up by 6. She has become a factor off the bench here for the Connecticut Sun. Late in this season, she is really coming on. She's been a revelation since she came to the Sun, but she has picked it up a little bit here in the latter part of the...
I mean, a remarkable story to get cut initially after training camp, then spend a little bit of time with Atlanta before getting picked up again by Connecticut. But you're right, she has really become a vital part of this team in the latter stretch of the season.
A Connecticut team that much earlier in the season lost their lead backup point guard, Lasia Clarendon, to injury. Heidemann for Holmes. Put it through, a three-pointer for Bria Holmes. So the bench coming through again for the Sun. Faulkner misfires on the three-pointer. A great third quarter here for the Connecticut Sun. It was a tie game at the half. Tisha Heidemann hits this late three, helping the Sun take a 7-point lead. Coming up big in that fourth quarter for the Connecticut Sun, Rebecca.
I mean, we've talked about their importance and in terms of their performance tonight, and then again in the last game on Sunday, just in terms of keeping their confidence up as this team gets into the playoffs, because they will play big minutes.
Tisha Heidemann has 8 off of the bench for Connecticut. Holmes has 9. And they're going to call Alyssa Thomas there for the hook. Offensive foul.
I mean, as I say, she can't argue that one. Of course she can argue it, but it was an offensive foul. You can't, do the forearm push off, and, I mean, you can get away with it, but it's a foul.
And you can argue it.
You can, you can.
Unsuccessfully.
But, you're right, unsuccessfully.
So it goes back to Chicago. It's going to belong to Chicago. By the way, the Mystics won tonight. They did defeat the Dallas Wings. So for the Sun to get that number 1 seed, they need to win this game, and they need to win on Sunday, and they would then need Chicago to beat Washington on Sunday. So the Sun are playing the Sky tonight. On Sunday, they may be very big Chicago fans. Here's Courtney Williams, the steal, the drive, the scoop. Heidemann follows it up. And the Sun reset it. Thomas for Brianna Jones. Banks it home over Parker.
Alyssa Thomas will look for Brianna Jones when Brianna Jones is in the ball game. She has so much confidence in her young center.
Copper in traffic, stripped to take it away. That's the kind of congestion that Kurt Miller preaches defensively. Results in the Chicago turnover as Heidemann feeds Thomas. Extra pass, threw it away.
Again, that time she was looking for Jones. Probably should have taken the drive.
Courtney Williams took it away from Faulkner, so the Sun have it back. Then Faulkner bats it away. Williams chases it down. Sets up Holmes, a 3. Thomas to follow. Rolls out.
This has been a fun game, hasn't it?
Just read my mind. I'm thinking, we didn't see any points, and yet that was a great,
still
fun
good
sequence.
exchange, yeah.
Sun by 9. Parker will try the 3. Ball poke loose. A lot of hands in this game, reaching in and bodies colliding. See it again there. As Faulkner reached in, stopped the play.
I think it's a really good sub by Kurt Miller, putting Morgan Tuck in, taking Alyssa Thomas out, because you could visibly see that Alyssa Thomas was getting a bit frustrated on the floor. And I know visibly see is redundant.
Calling foul on yourself there. You
I
usually do that to
yes.
me. Here's Holmes driving, and she'll go to the line to shoot two. So the Sun still needs some help to get that top seed, but the first thing they have to do is help themselves. As you get a look at that last foul, first thing they have to do is help themselves, and I really think once again they are feeding off of the energy of this crowd here tonight. The Mohegan Sun crowd, the Connecticut Sun fans have been spectacular.
As much as anything for Connecticut in terms of this game, they not only want to win for a win and to get the best home record in the history of the franchise, but I think it's important for them to go into the playoffs feeling like they're unbeatable at home, and for other teams to feel like this is the hardest place in the WNBA to play. And winning this game would help them kind of continue that mystique that they have had here at home.
Here's Heidemann for Brianna Jones. 85-75 Connecticut. Vandersloot hits. She was fouled. She goes to the line to try and complete a three-point play.
If she gets you on her hip, it's over. Right here, she gets Heidemann on her hip, and when she gets in that deep, it's either going to be a made shot or she's going to find a teammate from whichever defender came over to help. The second you're on her hip as a defender, it's over.
Missed the free throw, so the Sun have the 8-point lead. It's fan appreciation night inside the Mohegan. The Sun want to reward their fans here tonight. They've already given them a fun game to watch as Williams misfires. Gabby Williams, the rebound, and Vandersloot setting up Dolson, bullying her way past Tuck. Kick out. Vandersloot looks at the clock and fires. Crowd reacts to the foul call on Connecticut. And Stu Drew pulled down the offensive rebound. They're going to get Tuck on the foul, and so here is Stu. It's N-D-O-U-R, and for the record, Rebecca Lobo, right before the game, went to clarify the pronunciation of the last name.
It's a trick I learned from Holly Rowe. If you don't know exactly how to pronounce someone's name, you ask them. And so she let us know.
Yeah, there's been some confusion over pronunciation of her name. Here's Tuck spinning. Lost the handle. And Dew picks off the rebound. But looks like she, well, let's see what we got here. She go out of bounds.
What did they call?
Looked like we were going the other way. But Connecticut has it. And Brianna Jones has it blocked. Oh, Gabby Williams skied for that block. Vandersloot looping it for Dolson. Kept it alive for Gabby Williams. And her pass got knocked away by Connecticut. So that'll bring us to a timeout. It'll be Chicago basketball when we come back. The Sun lead it by 6.
Welcome back to Mohegan Sun Arena. What you are looking at is Connecticut's Courtney Williams initiating her favorite dance move, the Whoa. The lean in into a freeze on the beat has become a tradition for the Sun. You can see Jonquel Jones subtly making a three-point motion with her hand because after every three-pointer this team makes, the entire Sun bench drops in on the beat. To see what dance move Connecticut has go viral next, you can follow us on all of our social channels at Connecticut Sun. But Bob, I believe Rebecca has a challenge waiting for you.
Before the game's over, while we're sitting here, ooh, what a play. You are going to show me your whoa. And just so everybody knows that, as Robin pointed out, that's a dance move when I'm asking you to show me your whoa.
Here's my prediction. If I do that, it's going to elicit a big whoa. And then that's going to be followed by not again.
Oh,
another collision. How many times have we said that tonight? Another collision, contact, bodies collide.
the first quarter was so high scoring, free flowing, not a lot of whistles called, and the nature of the game, things have gotten a little bit more slow, a few more trips to the free throw line. And you're right, it's been physical.
Another good way to get ready for the postseason too, where every possession is critical and the games become as physical as ever.
And to see if your team is a team that can close.
Well, the Sun had a 10-point fourth quarter lead. Here come the Sky as Vandersloot foot on the line. That's a long two, and that 10-point lead is down to 2. 5:10 to go. What's a good one in the regular season home finale for the Sun? Up by 2.
Welcome back to the Mohegan Sun Arena where the Connecticut Sun hold on to a 2-point lead. Bob has declined to give us the woe, so I'm tossing it over to you, Robin. Show us what you got. See, that's how it's done. That's how it's done.
And our viewers just thanked Robin, and they should be thanking me for passing because that would have been one of the really more disturbing images.
And their lucky stars.
Yes. Well, we got a good one again. The Sun had built a 10-point lead here in the fourth quarter. Now they're trying to hold off the Sky. Out of the timeout, Alyssa Thomas is set up beautifully by Courtney Williams, and the Sun have a little more breathing room again.
Courtney Williams has kind of become their closer in these moments, and that was the right decision by her, drawing the defense.
Vandersloot found Dolson, puts it through, and you said it perfectly earlier, Rebecca. When there's an open player, Vandersloot's going to find it.
Every time.
Sun by 2. Plenty of time to go. 4:20 remaining as Courtney Williams misses it. Couple of Chicago Sky players fall down. They're playing 3-on-5 right now as DeShields and Dolson make their way into your picture. Vandersloot takes her own shot. Set herself up for a 3, which she missed. Thomas floating it up for her due. Ball poke loose. Chicago has it back.
And you and I were talking about this earlier. The Connecticut Sun, over the course of the last few weeks, have shown a lot of maturity in a lot of different ways. Their bench play. And one of the other ways is their ability to close close games. We saw it when their big comeback against Seattle a few weeks ago, when they erased the deficit against Vegas. These moments, even though they've clinched the top 2 berths, these moments in this game are important.
This is ideal preparation for the postseason.
Yes.
Oh, blow by there by Gabby Williams. She found an opening to tie this game at 87. It's going to be a Chicago foul, but this was an 85-75 Connecticut lead earlier in this quarter. 12-2 run for Chicago to even the score.
Good job and a heads-up job by Connecticut to look ahead. Brea Holmes, we talked about it earlier in the game. That's what she does, she attacks the rim. Chicago, though, erasing that big deficit to tie up this ball game, man. This is a team to be reckoned with in the playoffs.
And Holmes misses the first. She's not been a consistent free throw shooter on the season, 65% on the year. 0 for 2 in the Wednesday victory. Makes the second, breaks the tie. Here we go, 3:25 to go in the game. The Sun looking for what would be a record 16th home win. Vandersloot, stutter stepping, passing. Was it touched? Nope. The Sky say it was. They thought it was deflected by Connecticut. And it looks like they may overrule this and keep it at the Chicago end. But I do believe it was deflected by Connecticut.
Yeah. And since it's not under 2 minutes, the officials cannot go to the monitor for a review.
Well, Shakina Strickland back on the floor, which means it's all starters now for Connecticut with 3:12 to go. The exact opposite of their game on Wednesday when the reserves closed out the blowout victory over Dallas. Vandersloot. There's a Stu Dew. Tip back to Vandersloot. 3 minutes to go. Williams for Vandersloot. Sky looking to go back on top. Dew for the lead. Williams, the offensive rebound, put back, and Chicago on top by a point with 2:47 to go.
Gabby Williams has been really good here in the fourth quarter.
She has the last 4 for Chicago. Jones straightaway 3, puts it through. What a huge shot for Jonquel Jones. The three-pointer gives the Sun the 2-point lead with 2:25 remaining. And a turnover on Chicago, and it was Vandersloot looking for Dolson. Surprising turnover against the Sky to give the Sun the ball with 2:22 remaining. Thomas driving on the big, bouncing for Williams. Baseline drive, put it up, rolled out. Jonquel Jones put back, doesn't go down. 2-point blank misses for the Sun, and Melissa Thomas tripped up Diamond DeShields. That is the 4th team foul on Connecticut with 2:03 remaining. So the Sun may look back at that sequence a moment ago as you see the trip when, 2 point blank chances. Neither went down, so the lead remains at 2.
I think Chicago would want to get Diamond DeShields involved here.
He has not scored since the opening minutes of the third quarter. No look. Vandersloot finding a Stu Dew, and it's a tie game with under 2 to go. Williams. Jones fading, shooting. Difficult shot. Now Chicago has a chance with 90 seconds to go to regain the lead. Vandersloot, cross court. DeShields 3. Money. Wow. 94-91. Diamond DeShields scores her first point since very early in the third quarter, and late in the fourth, she gives the Sky a 3-point lead with 1:22 to go. Huge bucket for DeShields. And we get another look at the setup. Bang. Well, it bears repeating, Rebecca. This Chicago team is a team that's going to be a dangerous opponent for whomever in the postseason.
And we've seen Courtney Williams become kind of a closer for the Connecticut Sun in these moments. And the last time down the floor, she's guarded by Diamond DeShields. And it's a rare occasion where there's somebody who can match Courtney Williams' athleticism and has size. So that's why it's a little bit tougher challenge for Courtney Williams to get off her shot against DeShields versus most other defenders in the league.
26 points now for DeShields. She is only a couple of points away from a career high. But the bigger story here is her team has the lead again as they still look to fight for that first-round playoff bye. And the Suns set it up out of the timeout, down by 3. Reach in on Dolson. That's the 4th team foul on Chicago.
Connecticut probably happy that they're not in the bonus. I'd rather have possession than Alyssa Thomas at the free throw line.
Connecticut has lost only once all season in this building. That was back in July against the Minnesota Lynx. They are 15-1 at home, looking for their 10th straight home win. A minute to go. Connecticut down 3. Williams with 4 to shoot. Gives up for Jasmine Thomas. Has to force it up. Shot clock violation as the ball hit the backboard, not the rim. Goes back to Chicago. And
most situations, Courtney Williams is driving on her defender and trying to elevate over her. I think the reason she did not there was because that defender was Diamond DeShields.
Connecticut led this game 85-75, but a complete reversal here for the Chicago Skies. They have surged into the lead and have the ball up by 3. 40 seconds to go. Vandersloot. Dolson, 7 to shoot. Vandersloot trapped. Astu-Du, the 3 off the mark. It's chased down by Courtney Williams.
Great box out.
The Sun are alive. The crowd urging them on. Connecticut down 3. Jones for Williams. Williams looking to get rid of it. Thomas on top. 10 seconds to go. Sun down 3. Thomas for the tie. Off the rim. Rebound Courtney Williams. 3-2. The force. The whistle. The whistle. A foul. Courtney Williams knocked to the floor. Let's straighten it out. DeShields gets called on this foul, and it's going to be 3 free throws coming up for Courtney Williams, a 79% free throw shooter on the season. Has a chance to tie this game. This will be her first free throw of the night. 1 down, 2 to go. Two down, 1 to go, and then maybe we're looking at overtime. Tie game, Courtney Williams. Well, Rebecca, you talked about the go-to player on the Connecticut Sun. It could be any number of them, but Courtney Williams is certainly a leading candidate. And now she just proved that she has got we'll go down the cliche road. She got the ice in the veins, doesn't she?
And I know there's still 1.3 left in this game, which is time to catch, get a dribble, and a shot off. But there's been some magic in this building, hasn't there, this season? I mean, I referenced it earlier, that comeback against Seattle where they were down 7 in the last, 60, 70 seconds?
Yeah, about 1:10, I believe, to go.
And for that to happen there, too, I mean, there has just been some magic in this building this season for Connecticut. It's one of the reasons they only have 1 loss here.
One of the reasons that Courtney Williams or the Sun were forced into that desperation situation is because Diamond DeShields was doing such a great job on Courtney Williams. So a little bit of irony there in that DeShields ends up getting called on the foul that sent Courtney Williams to the line to shoot 3 free throws and made them all. And, you know, she made them calmly, like she'd been there many, many times before.
Again, a lot can happen in 1.3.
Absolutely. The ball's going to be advanced in Chicago with 1.3 seconds to go. They certainly have some players who can deliver in the clutch, as Courtney Williams just did. Now the Sky will try and win it here. As the Sun D up. Vandersloot. And that shot is off of the mark, and we're going to overtime. How about that? No overtime games for the Sun this year. No overtime games for the Chicago Sky. In the last home regular season game, we're going to go to overtime. A little bonus basketball feels almost appropriate as DeShields committed that foul on Courtney Williams. She made 3, and then DeShields misfires there at the buzzer. So, stick around. We got some more basketball coming your way. Overtime from the Mohegan next. Well, Rebecca, I was talking earlier about how this game is great playoff preparation, and now it's playoff preparation to the next degree, because now you've got overtime, and clearly both of these teams going all out here in the final home regular season game for the Sun, next to last game of the season for both of these clubs. And you mentioned it before we went to the break. Seems to be a little magic going on this year for the Connecticut Sun inside this arena. First possession to the Sky. Williams, 3. First lead of the overtime belongs to the Sky. Williams, the jumper, banks it home. Courtney Williams doing it all right now for the Sun. She is the reason we are playing this overtime. She hit 3 clutch free throws with a second to play. Shot clock is at 3. DeShields finally figured it out and had to force it up, hit the backboard. It goes back to Connecticut with a chance to take their first lead in this OT.
Great defensive possession by the Connecticut Sun. Helped when they needed to help, really locked down on their offensive player.
Williams steps into it. She is feeling it. Courtney Williams gives the Sun their first lead of this overtime. 98-97 Connecticut. DeShields, that's the same spot she missed that potential game winner from. And now here is Williams. Nice feed for Jones, looking for a position. Back to the basket, doesn't go down.
Would have been Courtney Williams' 9th assist if Jonquil had made that shot.
She's had a career-high 7 assists in her last game. As we said, doing it all right now. DeShields.
Oh,
2-pointer. Has a long 2 for DeShields. Chicago back on top. And DeShields has now matched a career high. She has 28 points. Williams again. Not that time, though. And Gabby Williams sneaks in for the rebound. And the Sky playing from in front here. Slim 1-point lead. Vandersloot. That rattles home for us, do. Timeout called by Connecticut. A great game. Both of these teams just keep going back and forth at each other, and we're in overtime for the first time all season for the Connecticut Sun and for the Chicago Sky as well. And 3-point lead for Chicago here in overtime. Kind of wonder what both of these teams will have left in the tank for Sunday when they close out the regular season, both on the road. And you can see the Sun coming up next will be at Indiana to close it out as far as the regular season is concerned on Sunday against the Fever. And then the playoffs for the Sun begin a week from Tuesday, the 17th of September. Kurt Miller in the huddle, trying to get his team across the finish line once again. I'll be very anxious to hear Kurt's take on this game because, as he told us before the game, it had to be a feel game for him as he, tried to strike that balance between, pushing hard enough to get a win, but not pushing so hard in a situation where you're not facing a critical stage of that season. The Sun have already locked up what they want. They double bye in the playoffs.
I think you could tell early that the Sun came to compete.
Oh, yeah.
They were ready to play in this game, and so he's riding with these guys, understanding. I mean, they know if they win this game that it'll set a franchise record for home wins in a season. And they know, as any competitor when you're out there, you just want to win the game, and they came to compete today.
Kurt made the good call. He said he felt his team would feed off of the energy of the crowd. It's fan appreciation night, big crowd tonight. They have been into the game right from the jump. They've been into every game this year. Think about the fact that the Sun last year finished with a great home record of 13-5, got hot at home late last season. And this year they've lost only once at home. The crowd has much to do with that. And they have energized the Sun tonight and trying to urge them on here in OT as Thomas threw it away in traffic. Tried to give it up for Jones.
Well drawn up play. I thought Jasmine Thomas should have gone right up with it.
Now Thomas makes amends. She comes up with the steal. Under 2 to go in overtime. Sun down 3. Where they found themselves with a second to go in OT before Courtney Williams tied it with 3 free throws, and Courtney Williams with the turnover right there. Vandersloot takes it herself, almost got it to drop. She'll go to the line. 85% free throw shooter will get a pair with 91 seconds to go.
Talked about it earlier. The second the defender is on her hip, it's Sloot's advantage.
See her numbers for the game. Double digits in assists once again. She is the league leader by a wide margin in assists under first-year head coach James Wade. She makes a pair, and Rebecca, the Sun are going to have to rely on a little bit more of that magic again. That Mohegan magic. 1:20 to go in overtime as Thomas gives for Courtney Williams. High arcing three is good. Courtney Williams will not surrender.
I thought she should have taken the 3 the previous possession. She's got to be, she's such a good three-point shooter. She's got to be more comfortable taking more of them. Huge shot.
She has the last 10 in this game for Connecticut. Astudu snuck in.
Man, Chicago is relentless in their ability to answer whenever Connecticut scores.
Oh, by the way, both these teams over 100 again. Williams, 3, no good. And then the collision between Courtney and Vandersloot.
I thought she got fouled on that 3.
Yeah, she thought she was fouled, and Dawson came out and looked like she was hit. She was pleading her case there and looked a little perplexed at the lack of a call, and now it's free throws for Chicago. Vandersloot doing her thing. 18 points, now 7 of 8 from the free throw line. She has 11 assists to go along with 19 points. And the lead for Chicago is 6. So now the Sun really need to find something magical. They're down by 6 with 42 seconds to go. We're talking about the play involving Courtney Williams before that foul that she committed. Courtney thought that she might have been fouled on a three-point attempt. Remember, we are in overtime because she was fouled on a three-point attempt by Diamond DeShields with a little more than a second to go in regulation. And Williams hit 3 free throws to tie the game at 94. DeShields missed a 3 on the last play of regulation. Sun had a 98-97 lead early in this OT, but that has been the last lead. It's been all Chicago since. And the Chicago Sky look to close it out here. Strickland 3 is good. The Sun are alive, down by 3 with 34 seconds remaining in overtime. Vandersloot being pursued, gets rid of it. Dolson now for Vandersloot. 10 to shoot, 21 seconds to go in OT. Vandersloot probing, feeding Williams, extra pass, Astu, in and out. The Sun have it with 12 seconds to go, and they call for a timeout. Wash, rinse, and repeat here, huh? We are pretty much where we were at the end of regulation, Rebecca. Sun down 3 with the ball.
Instead of 1.2, they've got 12 seconds, so
Yep.
plenty of time to run some action. And they've got multiple three-point shooters on the floor, and I think that's what they'll go for is a 3. Alyssa Thomas being the only player, if she's out there, that you wouldn't expect to take one.
Sun just got a three-pointer from Shakina Strickland. And those were the first points from anybody other than Courtney Williams for the Connecticut Sun in a while. According to my electronic box score, which has let me down sometimes in the past, 1 timeout left apiece for each of these teams. We don't post that on the board here. But the Sun have just called for the timeout, and they will set it up with the starting 5 on the floor. This is the same 5 who have started every game this season for the Sun, and now they're going to try and finish this game. They'll try to keep it alive again in dramatic fashion. The Sun tied it with free throws with a second to go in regulation. Now they need a 3 to send it into a second OT potentially. Jasmine Thomas, hand off Courtney. Strickland, the fake, deep 3, off of the mark. 3 seconds, 2-1 Chicago ball. And it looks like the magic on this night has run out for Connecticut. That was a difficult three-pointer for Strickland.
But a decent look. A decent look. They ran, they got the ball in the hands of the player they wanted to have. Get the ball, just couldn't get it down.
Diamond DeShields is going to get free throws here. There's a foul on that scramble after the miss on Jasmine Thomas. You can, it's a palpable feeling right now in the arena. The energy level just dropped. The crowd almost expected that three-pointer from Shakina Strickland to go down.
Well, with everything else that's happened, not only in this game, but in the past few weeks and all season long here, with Connecticut's ability to pull out wins, the crowd's staying, too. They think something's going to happen in this last 1.6.
By the way, during the stoppage of play, we have a chance to thank our entire crew under the direction of Barry Sachs, our executive producer, Sheila Sullivan, associate producer. A lot of names. I would miss some, so I don't want to go into that territory, but so many great people we're surrounded by here. Our production team at the Mohegan Sun. A very heartfelt thanks to all of them for the great work they have done for us all season long.
It has been a fun season calling these games.
And for you, there's still a lot more fun as we hand it off to the national television side, and ESPN and ABC take it the rest of the way, and you're part of that crew. Boy, you must be really looking forward to what should be a great WNBA postseason.
It's my favorite time of the year in terms of work. I love calling the WNBA playoffs. They're so exciting, those early round games being single elimination, then you get into series play, you reseed. Everything about this playoff format makes it fun for us to call the games.
Well, you're looking at two playoff teams here tonight. The Connecticut Sun are already assured of going straight to the semifinals. With a loss here tonight, they are now locked in as the 2 seed. And Chicago remains alive in their hopes to get a first-round playoff bye, which they would get if they were to finish 4th. The Shields makes 2. 1.6 seconds to go in the home regular season for the Connecticut Sun. They have one regular season game left.